In terms of historicals, any time periods that you feel are overlooked or overdone. I feel that ancient Rome, I would like to see more there. I do have a tiara, but I'm not going to put it on. Let's see, overdone, Victorian era, although I still love Victorian. Regency, I'm fading on Regency. Let's see. I'd love something historically set in Egypt. That would be awesome. Okay, dystopian. Do I think it will still be popular in the next 2 years or so? Maybe. Again, this is the whole trend thing. It's, who knows? I'm still seeing dystopian sales, and you know, the things that are selling right now are going to come out in a year or two. So hopefully they will be popular and they'll make sales. Whether or not they'll still be buying in a year or two, I don't know. I mean, honestly, trends are almost impossible to predict, but they are cyclical. So even if they're not popular, they will come back eventually. Which is why it's always good to write what you want to write. Do I represent any international authors? I do. I represent an author in Australia. I represent an author in China. I represent several authors in Canada. Not too far away, but yes, I do. It can be tricky though to represent international authors, because if with smaller presses especially, it's a lot harder to break them out and do promotional and marketing for them. But it depends. Like for example, the author I have in Australia is a romance, and romance has several houses that also have Australian houses, so they can work in tandem. So it really just depends. But I'm not going to turn someone down because they're international. Oh my god. Did someone seriously just ask me this? Is it a good plan to have your manuscript ready when you query, or can you still be in the process? Don't you dare query me if your manuscript is not ready. Don't you dare. Don't you dare pitch it to me. Don't you dare talk to me about it. Don't you dare, okay? You finish that thing, you polish it, you get your beta readers, then you go. No, I'm serious! Yeah, if you're a senior, well, if you're anyone interested in getting into the publishing business, intern. Intern, you will not find a paid internship. I worked for like 2 years as an unpaid intern. Who cares? You have to do it. Intern. That's my tip to get into the industry. And you will make the connections that you need from there. And if anyone wants to know where to find internships, we offer internships. Almost every agency offers internships. You can be readers. Almost every publishing house offers internships. You have to check if there's any in your area. You mentioned that you don't rep hard science fiction. Where's the line between hard and soft for you? Okay, hard science fiction to me is, it's like one of those movies on the Sci-Fi Channel that's just all about aliens and they're all in a spaceship and it's like 2,000 years in the future and they're trying to save the planet. I mean, I would rep something with aliens in it. I do rep something with aliens in it. I like basically science fiction that has an element of the modern day in it. Even if it's maybe a girl frozen in time from modern day and she ends up in a spaceship fighting aliens 2,000 years in the future trying to save the Earth, that might be okay. Just an element of modern day. What feeling am I hoping for when I read a manuscript? How do I know the submission is for me? Okay, I just answered this in an interview question. The feeling that I'm hoping for when I read a manuscript is, oh my god. I just got a submission that I took with me to Vegas in my purse, carried it around the pool, holding my mimosas because I wanted to finish it so bad, okay, in Vegas. That's what I want to get. I don't want to feel like it's good, but I'll put it off to read something else first, or I got a lot to do. I have to finish it now. I want this. Oh my god. That's what I want. What is your take on alliterative names in picture books? I'm not huge on alliteration. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Some agency internships a lot of times are remote. Our agency prefers to have agents that are internships that are in office because we have a home office. But other agencies, such as Andrea Brown, where they don't have they have a central office, but they also have their agents all work from home. I know a lot of their readers and interns are remote. There are plenty of agencies. Taylor Martindale, my colleague, came from Bliss, who she did everything via email. So you can definitely find an internship anywhere from your home. Can an intern be middle-aged? Sure. Honestly, we're probably assuming you're trying to make a career switch. For us, it'd be a little hard because when we get applicants who are out of college or middle-aged, we always are a little hesitant because we know they might be looking for a job down the road, and not a lot of people, not a lot of job openings open up in our agency all the time, so it becomes sort of awkward. So if you are middle-aged, you have to be absolutely 100% dedicated to the unpaid, just experience internship. Absolutely. If you queried me before, mention it. I will probably remember it, especially if I gave you a personal response, especially with romance submissions I receive. I usually remember all of those. So yeah, absolutely mention it again. Any picture book topics I would like or overdone? I think crazy animals are kind of overdone. Crazy hair is kind of overdone. As to topics that I would like to see, surprise me. That's it. That's all I can say. I want to be surprised and go, ooh, cool. So just look at your bookshelves. See what's too much of it is there. Oh, how do I feel about tragic endings in young adult or middle grade? I like happy endings. I mean, come on, I'm a princess girl. Happy endings. Although, if it has a tragic ending and it has a reason for a tragic ending that is sort of like a moral or a lesson, okay, I can understand. But just tragedy for the sake of tragedy, that's just sad. How many queries get personal responses on average? I'd say about 10%. The reason that I give personal responses is if I met them at a conference, if I feel like I have some sort of personal relationship with them, meaning I've requested it or I have talked to them. Sometimes I've given personal responses to people that I've talked to extensively over Twitter just because I feel like, hey, they're I know them kind of now. Although that's not a guarantee. If it's a referral from a client, always gets a personal response. If it And then there was, for a while, I did give this one interview on mother.write.repeat where I said that I kind of was vague and sort of sounded like I'd give a response to anybody that mentioned the interview. So I was giving personal responses to everybody who mentioned that interview. But I cut that off now because that was so long ago. So don't mention that interview anymore. It does not guarantee a response. And if I was really intrigued enough to want to read more of the book, like it was almost there for me, then I will also give a personal response. The queries that I viewed earlier today, if I would have requested pages for those, would that be something you should include in an official query to you? Yes, absolutely. I'm going to remember. I mean, I've still got my little markings next to me, and I'm going to keep them just to remember which ones I read. But yeah, it makes my job a lot easier always if you just mention anything you had to do with me. Even when people say I've been following you on Twitter, then I say, okay, I know you at least have seen my rants on random things and email subs and, grammar, and so you probably know what you're doing. So hopefully you know what you're doing, or at least WriteOnCon has decided they want my hair. You can't have it. Creative nonfiction and picture books. No, I would not like to see more creative nonfiction. I would like to see in picture books the kind of nonfiction that is science nonfiction. Like if you have a strong science background and you can write something that's educational, or it's about like a biographical about a well-known person type of picture book. Those are the types of nonfiction that I look at. Sending out only 10 queries at a time so that if they are all rejected, you could look at what might be going wrong and fix it. That would be a good suggestion. However, I would also, if you're going to use that method, I would also make sure that you're personalizing your letter and sending to people that are interested, because your query might be great, but if you're just picking A to Z through agent list, they're all going to be rejected anyway, if you get what I'm saying. So 10 queries is a good number, I think. I mean, yeah, I would do that. Best beta reader suggestions. Anyone with an X in their name. Good luck finding someone with an X in your name. I'm not really quite sure what the reference is there. You know what? I think the best beta reader is someone who you connect with. It doesn't matter if they're a librarian, newbie writer, they're published, they're a professional editor. It has to be someone who gets your work, someone whose opinion you trust, and someone who makes you think. Someone whose feedback isn't just telling you what to do, but makes you think about how you can improve not only in that manuscript, but in future manuscripts.